Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Endless resources, millions of dollars, and nothing came of it. Tonight, we're working to find out what happened to bring the criminal investigation into the Flint water crisis to an abrupt end. No criminal charges in the Flint water crisis case is a crushing reality for those who live in the city and those who were first appointed to investigate.
And tonight, for the first time in depth, attorney Todd Flood speaking out about the collapse of the case. You may recall he was appointed special counsel under then Attorney General Bill Schuette when Dana Nessel took over as AG. Flood was out, and so was the investigative work done by his team. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester live tonight with more on what Todd Flood has to say about the collapse of it all. Hank.
Yeah, Devin, Kimberly, Todd Flood, like a lot of people across the state of Michigan today, really just disappointed, disgusted that people are not being held accountable for what happened in Flint. Today, Todd Flood on the case and the future for that city. There's great sadness for the people of Flint that there's not a resolution to this legally.
It's ugly, right? When you think about it, because nowhere in the world has there been a case like this.
Todd Flood reflecting on Flint, his work as special prosecutor, the years he spent investigating. He says all wiped away when Attorney General Dana Nessel took office. Flood was out, her team was in. In regards to the investigation, you know, with Worthy, Hammoud, the AG's office, Nessel, what do you think went wrong?
A series of things. When there was a change of administrations, we were done. Yeah. Our team was done.
And when it comes to why this case fell apart, Flood says the grand jury, a big mistake.
Huge mistake. Yeah. Huge mistake. They had no real significant advantage to do a grand jury, one-man grand jury.
Flood and his team of investigators criticized early on. Some believe that they were working to protect former Governor Rick Snyder. He says the charges were coming.
We got lower-rung people to plead. When we took those pleas, they cooperated. We were moving up the chain.
The AG's office releasing a lengthy statement, and it reads in part, the residents of Flint deserve their day in court. If a jury decided that the defendants were not guilty of the charged offenses, so be it. To deny the opportunity to present the evidence and to let the victims tell their story is truly heartbreaking. Our goal with each step was to seek accountability on behalf of the residents. We brought in experts on lead poisoning, and for the first time in the Flint water investigation, our team examined each and every death and sought every legal remedy available to us. We are extremely disappointed that accountability for those alleged responsible is being denied on unprecedented process rulings.
I wanted this case to the end. And win, lose, or draw, I just wanted to see it to the end.
Back out here live, and when we're talking about former Governor Rick Snyder and possible charges, Todd Flood says they were looking at many different things involving Snyder, including his sworn testimony before Congress when he was discussing what he knew regarding Flint and when he knew it. This really comes down to the people of that community and how they are being affected by this. That's why tomorrow I'm going to make my way to the Vehicle City to talk to the people in that community. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. Local 4. I had
a feeling you were going to hear from some angry folks. All right, Hank, we will look forward to that. Our other top story here at 5. Rank and file Ford workers are now voting on the proposed contract the two sides agreed to last week.
If members vote to pass it, the strike against the automaker would officially end. Will Jones is live in Wayne tonight near Ford's Michigan assembly plant. Will, how long do the members have to vote here?
Well, Kimberly and Devin, voting at UAW Local 900 is open for a 24-hour period. They're nearing the halfway point right now. Also taking place inside a meeting for members to ask questions about the contract. UAW's strike against Ford ended 1 week ago at 8 p.m. Ford, the first of Detroit's big three automakers to reach a tentative agreement with the union. Ford UAW members spending 5 weeks and 5 days on the picket line, surviving on $500 a week of strike pay. Now the ratification process is underway at UAW Local 900 across the street from Ford's Michigan assembly plant in Wayne. Voting began at 6 this morning. It runs until 6 tomorrow morning. The contract includes a 25% general wage increase, which will amount to even more with reinstated cost of living adjustments. The 8-year wage progression previously in place has been shortened to 3 years, meaning a new hire would earn the top available wage after 3 years on the job. UAW President Shawn Fain called the tentative agreement with Ford a massive victory for the union. Now those who are on the picket line around the clock, sometimes in the cold, will have the final say with their vote. This parking lot is very busy right now. I can tell you a lot of workers are relieved that this chapter is almost over. Ford's 57,000 union represented workers will be voting on the contract. It will take a simple majority to ratify. We're live in Wayne. Will Jones, Local 4.
Okay, we'll stay on top of it. Will, thank you.
Now to new questions tonight about what caused that massive fire at a large home in Bloomfield Hills. Story we were following at this time yesterday. The home on Lone Pine burned for hours. Mara McDonald live at the Bloomfield Township Fire Department, and we had 2 firefighters hurt battling that fire yesterday, Mara.
Devin, that's right. I just got briefed by the chief here. He tells us that they are okay, that they were treated for, multiple issues, but essentially they're going to be okay. Let me show you what's next. The massive cloud of smoke could be seen for miles. A substantial home on Lone Pine near the Cranbrook Educational Community went up in flames yesterday afternoon and burned for hours. This is the aftermath this afternoon. And while Bloomfield Hills Fire is still working on the why of the fire, they know it started in the attic. Firefighters say when they got on scene a little after 2 o'clock yesterday, they found heavy fire in the second floor attic of the more than 10,000 square foot home. The roof is collapsed and it appears the home is a total loss. Neighbors tell us it's relatively new, completed in the last 4 years. Chief, can you tell us what the next steps are for this? I mean, 16,000 square foot houses don't just go up, so I assume you guys are investigating.
We are investigating it. We utilize a multi-jurisdictional investigation group from SOFA, which is a group of public safety departments locally that all work together as one team and help each other out in any fires, and especially when you have very large fires, it's very helpful to have multiple resources from multiple departments.
Back here live, they did have multiple departments out here yesterday, including Troy, Clawson, Berkeley, and Oakland Township. We're live in Bloomfield Hills tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Well, it was extraordinary pictures yesterday, that's for sure. All right, Mara.
All right, now to the Michigan sign stealing investigation that seems to have consumed the world of college football.
And it never gets any clearer, it seems.
Yeah.
Bernie's here now as Central Michigan has now fallen into the fray because we've had some video surface that certainly seems to show Connor Stallion on the sideline of their game with Michigan State.
Absolutely, and we like to call him the king of the Michigan sign-stealing scandal, has widened his path. Connor Stallions was on the sidelines for Central Michigan's opening game against Michigan State. It appears that way. The reason it's big is it'll be the first evidence that Stallions violated off-campus in-person scouting. We've got highlights. Watch Stallions all the way on the right there. You see him with the head, with the hat and the dark glasses. After Central beat Northern last night, CMU head coach Jim McElwain not happy about the sign-stealing situation. He promised CMU would get to the bottom of it all.
I do know that his name was on none of the passes that were let out. Now we just keep tracing it back and try to figure it out. But it's in good hands with our people. And again, there's no place in football for that.
That's Jim McElwain. Some are wondering if the glasses that Stallions wore just might have a camera in them. More on this story coming up.
So I'm going to ask a silly question. So he was allegedly working for the University of Michigan, but on the sidelines.
He's on their payroll.
Yes.
On their on their payroll, but on the CMU sidelines, dressed in CMU gear, but on Michigan's payroll. Allegedly, if that is
allegedly
him.
all that, and possibly shooting video of Michigan State with their signs going in and out because they were playing Michigan State later in the year.
And he was wearing sunglasses at night, to quote the old Corey Hart song.
Was it a night
He had some sunglasses on and some of the, yes.
Well, the lights are bright.
Yeah, it's very bright, yes. All right, so
see in a little bit.
more on that coming up.
Yeah.
All right, we thought we had it bad last night. As we mentioned yesterday, it was far worse on the other side of the state. I was 2 inches off because I told you 9 inches of snow in northern Muskegon.
Yep.
11.
11. Wow.
it canceled trick-or-treating in some parts of the state over on the west side.
Alpena, the snow didn't manage to stick around all that long, though. These are live pictures from Grand Rapids. You can see it's melted already thanks to some warmer temperatures, and the sun helped too. Trick-or-treating really cold though last night.
Pretty brisk. Now the sun's shining, of course, right, Kim? Because that's how it goes.
Well, yes, and as you know, we'll have, sunshine on Christmas too, because why have both a white Halloween and a white Christmas in one season? We did break a record yesterday. We had 0.2 inches of snow out at the airport, broke the old record of the first measurable snow, which was back in 1993. Not a record any one of us really cared to break, but we did. 43 downtown right now, 41 at Metro, 40 in Pontiac. It's anywhere from 2 to 6 degrees warmer right now than it was at this same time yesterday, with the help of that broken sunshine out there. We do have some clouds. Now tomorrow we'll still have a mix of clouds and some sun. Temperatures will remain below normal for this time of year, with our high topping out at 47 degrees. This weekend we do warm back up close to normal and even above normal by Sunday, but we bring in that chance for rain before cooler weather returns for next week. We'll talk about that rain for the weekend coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Kim, so off and running on this Wednesday.
Let's check in with Demond.